Welcome to Westmoreland Community Connections, a look at issues and happenings on Classic Hits 107.1 WHJB. Here now is your host, Chad Amond, President and CEO of the Westmoreland County Chamber of Commerce.
Hello and welcome to Westmoreland Community Connections. I'm your host, President and CEO of the Westmoreland County Chamber of Commerce, Chad Amond. I am excited today to have on the show two ladies from that are connected with the Alzheimer's Association of Greater Pennsylvania chapter. Carol Trent, who is the Westmoreland Walk Chair and also owner of Senior Helpers, and Brittany Coulter, who is the Walk Manager for the Alzheimer's Association. Ladies, thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Chad.
We'll start with Carol. Carol, could you give us a little bit of your background and how you got connected with the Alzheimer's Association?
Sure. Thanks, Chad. My husband and I, Tom, own Senior Helpers. We've been in business in Westmoreland County and Eastern Allegheny County for over 12 years. And every day, unfortunately, we deal with clients and their families who are impacted by Alzheimer's disease. And we just see the great effect it has on these families, how difficult and how devastating this disease is. And then, unfortunately, I have had some personal experience with several family members who have passed from Alzheimer's and dementia. So it's something that's very near and dear to my heart personally and professionally. So this is my 10th year being involved with the Walk and have been involved on the planning committee for those 10 years and have been elevated through process of elimination to become the chair. And with a volunteer, you're never going to get fired. So have been the chair for the last couple years. But it's a great experience. We have a great team of people that help to plan the walk that we couldn't do it without them.
So you're working on the front line every day with Senior Helpers, and you're working to help Alzheimer's with the Alzheimer's Association.
Right. Like Brittany always says, we're hoping that we work ourselves out of a job with the Alzheimer's Association. We hope that they're coming up with a treatment and a cure so that we don't have to deal with this in the future, and we hope our children never have to deal with it.
Brittany, what is your background and how did you get on board with the Alzheimer's Association?
In the past, I've been an activity director for personal care homes in the area with those people who are affected by the disease. Through that, I was also a volunteer, and I had been on the committee for a few years, and when the position came available, I was super excited. So I've been on staff for about 2.5 years now, and I've learned and have grown through the association, and I just love working with the volunteers and all of our team captains that we get through the walk, hearing their stories and how they're affected, and joining in the fight.
So obviously the both of you are passionate about Alzheimer's and working yourselves out of Alzheimer's, the association, because hopefully it will be dismissed sometime, right?
Yep.
But I think that one of the things that is important is that we talk and let the listeners know a little bit about Alzheimer's and what are some of the key things that we need to know about this disease.
Sure. Alzheimer's is a type of dementia that causes problems with memory, thinking, and behavior. Symptoms usually develop slowly and get worse over time, becoming severe enough to interfere with daily tasks. So maybe you don't remember where your car keys are multiple times a day. Maybe you don't know who your daughter is, things like that. Alzheimer's is the most common form of dementia, and dementia is a general term for memory loss and other cognitive abilities serious enough to interfere with daily life. Alzheimer's disease accounts for 60 to 80% of dementia cases. Alzheimer's is not a normal part of aging. The greatest known risk factor is increasing age, and the majority of people with Alzheimer's are 65 and older. But Alzheimer's is not just a disease of old age. So not everybody is going to get Alzheimer's because they're aging. Alzheimer's has no current cure, but treatments for symptoms are available and research continues. Although current Alzheimer's treatments cannot stop Alzheimer's from progressing, they can temporarily slow the worsening of dementia symptoms and improve quality of life for those with Alzheimer's and their caregivers. Today, there is a worldwide effort underway to find better ways to treat the disease, delay its onset, and prevent it from developing.
One of the things that you said that it's not all about age. I'm not an expert in Alzheimer's or medicine, but I always thought that the majority of people that are suffering from Alzheimer's are an aging population. And with the demographic information that the Chamber is working on for the county's comprehensive plan, we obviously have an aging population in Westmoreland County. By 2020, almost 30% of our population in the county is going to be 65 or older. So how prevalent is Alzheimer's related or related dementia, not only nationally but regionally, to the aging population?
Well, Chad, in Pennsylvania, there are currently 275,000 people living with Alzheimer's. Once you add in all the other forms of dementia, that's over 400,000 people who are affected.
400,000 people that are affected in Pennsylvania alone. Mm-hmm. Do we have any stats on the region and Westmoreland County? I mean, because I think they're roughly 12 million people in Pennsylvania, so that's a significant percentage.
Sure. If you're looking for more stats, you can go on alz.org/PA.
You're listening to Westmoreland Community Connections on Hometown Classic Hits 107.1 WHJB. I'm your host, Chad Amond, president of the Westmoreland County Chamber of Commerce. We're talking with two ladies that are connected with the Alzheimer's Association. Carol Trent, who is the chair of the Westmoreland Walk and owner of Senior Helpers, and Brittany Coulter, who is the walk manager for the Alzheimer's Association. Ladies, let's shift gears a little bit. And what are some of the ways that someone can support the Alzheimer's Association and their mission? And what is ultimately the mission of the Alzheimer's Association?
Well, our vision is a world without Alzheimer's, so everything that we do through the organization really promotes that every single day. Some ways people can get involved is volunteering, whether it be on the day of an event or joining a planning committee, or you can be out in the community. You can be trained how to educate the community. Like you said, there's a significant amount of people who will be 65 and older, and specifically Western Pennsylvania and Westmoreland County. So doing that and getting the education and the outreach there is not able to be done staff alone. So volunteering is something that we're pushing. You know, the more people we get involved, the better we'll be at letting people know what Alzheimer's and dementia is. Specifically here in Westmoreland County, we do have the Walk to End Alzheimer's. That planning committee meets once a month for about an hour, and then Carol gives you about an hour of work throughout the rest of the month. But it's a great way to get involved, a great way to meet people and join in the fight.
Carol, how did you get on the ship for the volunteers for the Alzheimer's committee, and what is that work that you are assigning to the committee?
Okay, Chad, I got involved years ago, and honestly, I think I just saw, what somebody else from another company was talking about the walk and how they got involved, and I said that would be interesting to get involved with. So at the beginning, I was just doing a lot of things that the committee does. They're out there. Everybody takes a little part, which is very nice because nobody has a huge chunk of work to do. Everybody does what they feel comfortable with. So if you're comfortable going out there trying to ask companies to be sponsors, or if you're comfortable just going around asking people to register to be in the walk, or you just want to ask for donations for raffle baskets. So those are the types of things that the committee members are doing. We also do some fundraising events throughout the year. So we had a couple of ladies that did a wonderful fundraising event out at the Spitfire Cafe in South Greensburg. So they had some connections there, and that was kind of in their wheelhouse. So whatever somebody is comfortable with, that's how we try to get them involved. So people are only doing what they want to do and how much they want to do. So there's probably, I don't know, Brittany, about 25 people on our committee?
25 people on the committee.
Yeah. So that really really helps. Nobody has to feel that they have a huge burden to do a huge chunk of work. They are just everybody's doing a little bit and doing their part.
And what is the goal for fundraising for the walk, and what has it generated in years past?
Well, this year our goal is $87,620. Last year I think we raised about $76,000. So we met our goal last year.
Nice.
Kind of in everything. We met our goal in the dollars raised, the number of teams, the number of participants. We had over 700 participants last year and over 70 teams. So this year we're looking for about 850 walkers and about 87 teams. So it's a lot of money raised, and it's very important because that does go to support all of the programs that help to support the families and the educational programs that Brittany was talking about earlier.
And the walk is going to be held where and when? I do believe it's September 29th?
Right. It's Saturday, September 29th out at Twin Lakes Park. We're at the Lower Lake Pavilion 7 in the Activity Center. So registration starts at 8:30. Come at 8:30 because there's usually a big crowd, and we have a lot of food donations and drink donations from local companies. We have a DJ with lots of great music. There's going to be a Zumba warm-up this year. We also have face painters, raffle baskets. So there's quite a lot going out. You're allowed to bring kids. You're allowed to bring dogs on leashes. And then we take the walk around the lake. You can either do the 1 mile loop around the upper lake or do both upper and lower, which is about a 2 mile walk. So if you're not even able to walk that far, just come out and enjoy it and show your support for the Alzheimer's Association and enjoy the day.
You're listening to Westmoreland Community Connections on Hometown Classic Hits 107.1 WHJB. We're talking with Brittany Coulter and Carol Trent, who are actively involved in the Westmoreland Walk for the Alzheimer's Association. It's going to be held September 29th. We're going to get into more of the details after these messages. Thanks for listening.
This is Westmoreland Community Connections on Classic Hits 107.1 WHJB. If you have a suggestion for a topic, or if your nonprofit organization would like to be featured on this program, call us during regular business hours at 724-216-1200.
Welcome back. You're listening to Westmoreland Community Connections on Hometown Classic Hits 107.1 WHJB. I'm your host, Chad Amond, president of the Westmoreland County Chamber of Commerce. Our guests today are Brittany Coulter. Brittany is the walk manager for the Alzheimer's Association, and Carol Trent, who is the Westmoreland Walk chair of the committee and also owner of Senior Helpers. Ladies, before we went to break, we were talking a little bit about what the impact of the Alzheimer's Walk has on the community, and my goodness, you raised over $75,000 last year. The goal this year is a very specific $87,622.59, right? But I think we need to step back just a moment and talk a little bit about what the programs and the services that the Alzheimer's Association offers.
Sure. Our first and foremost, we have a 24/7 helpline. So anybody, no matter what time of day, what day of the week, if it's a holiday, if it's Christmas Eve, you can call our 1-800 helpline, which is 1-800-272-3900. You can call that, and it's in over 170 languages. Somebody will answer the phone and help you.
170 languages?
Yes. They're all master level people that are trained to speak with somebody about Alzheimer's and hopefully help them. Wow. We do educational programs in the community, so that's just to raise awareness and educate anyone from children in school not understanding what's going on with their grandma to people who are living in facilities and they're wondering what's happening to their friends. We do care consultations, and this is really helping people and their families navigate through difficult decisions and uncertainties throughout each stage. And And the last big thing that we do with the dollars that are raised are our advocacy efforts. These are initiatives that support legislative reform at a state and federal level to improve the quality of care and services for Alzheimer's individuals and their families, including research funding.
Brittany, when should a person call the Alzheimer's Association? What, if you forget where your socks were, or if you forget where your shoes were, is that the impact place where you need to call? Or when does a person have the symptoms that they need to make sure that they are connecting with the Alzheimer's Association?
So if you have questions, just call the helpline or go online to alz.org/PA. That is definitely the first step to take. If you're nervous about it, that's where to go. We do educate the community in something called Know the 10 Signs. So there's a lot of different things that go into knowing the 10 signs that, I forgot my socks once. It's not that I forget what a sock is necessarily. So the earlier, the better. We often see families calling in on their loved ones more than the person themselves.
Okay. All right. Well, Carol, do you have any perspective on that? You're obviously with senior helpers. You're living probably on this front line every day. Do you have any advice for the listeners?
Yes, a couple of things. If you do have questions, like Brittany said, don't hesitate. People are scared about Alzheimer's and dementia. They're really worried about it. But what I always tell people is, look, it's better to understand what's going on. And a lot of times, people that are having memory issues, it may not be Alzheimer's or dementia. It may be a medical issue going on. There may be something else going on that is easily fixable. So don't assume you're having Alzheimer's and dementia, is coming out in you. It may be something else. I do quite a few talks in the community related to those 10 signs, and I get so many questions all the time, and they're normal aging. We all forget where our keys are. We all walk into a room and say, oh my gosh, why did I walk into
Right.
the room? I always tell people, look, it's like Brittany said, you forget what keys are and what they do. You walk into a room and you don't even remember that you forgot why you were coming in. So, if you're doing those, retracing your steps, trying to find those keys, don't worry about it. You're okay. You're in normal aging. And we always refer our families to the Alzheimer's Association. They have so many wonderful support groups. People just need to get out there and talk to other families and realize what they're going through is not unusual. And it really helps them to share with other family members the problems that they're having, the solutions that they've found. So there is an endless amount of resources with the Alzheimer's Association to make sure that they're dealing with this disease in the best way possible.
Well, we tip our cap to you to help to do the fundraising to make sure that the Alzheimer's Association is viable and you have 170 people that are able to speak those languages and serve the community. But part of the fundraising is the walk, and let's get back into the walk. Tell us a little bit more about the walk. How can those listening participate and get involved?
Well, you can go online to register. If you go on to alz.org/walk, you can look up the walk for Westmoreland County, but just put your zip code in where you live, and that will bring up the walk that is closest to you.
So they're having these all over the country.
Right. How many walks are there?
We have over 600 walks nationwide.
600 walks on the same day?
They're throughout September and October,
Okay.
but there are 25 walks here in Pennsylvania.
Wow. So you would go on to alz.org/walk to put in your zip code and make sure that you're finding the walk that's closest. Obviously, Westmoreland Community Connections, we're hoping that you're going to go to Twin Lakes on the 29th of September. How many people do you expect to be at the walk?
This year, we're expecting around 850 walkers. We had over 700 last year, so it's grown quite a bit. I think in my first year, we had maybe 150. So it's phenomenally grown from the 10 years ago.
I guess maybe like you, Carol, sitting on the as the chair of the committee, what all goes into planning an event like this? I mean, I know we talked about it a little bit before the break, but I think that the listeners need to know the impact that you are having on Westmoreland County and the Alzheimer's Association and your fellow committee members. What all goes into coordinating an event like this?
Well, it really is a year-long event. Once we're done with the walk on the 29th, we'll still be doing some events to wrap up the walk, to hand out some awards and things for the teams that raised the most money, who had the most walkers, those types of things. So we always have a celebration event after the walk to just give kudos to those people that did the best. We also, as soon as the year ends, I mean, we give the committee December off.
Okay.
So they can deal with the holidays. But come January, we really have to start getting those sponsorships. We want those companies to start committing to sponsorships so that they can get the most out of the advertising for the year. If they get in January and February, they're going to have their name on the website for the Alzheimer's Association, so they're going to get that exposure all year. They're going to get on the T-shirts. They're going to get on the posters that are up all over the county now. They're going to get in, any printed materials. So depending on their level of sponsorship, they're going to get the most they can. So at the beginning of the year, we really work on sponsorships. Then we start working on what they call team retention and team recruiting. So we're going back to all those previous teams and inviting them to come back, thanking them for their support and their fundraising that they've done in previous years. And then we're reaching out to new people in the community to see if they would like to walk and would get a team together.
Well, obviously it's been successful. You said you've been a part of the organization and the walk for probably a decade, I think.
Yes.
You said. And the first year was 150 and last year was 850 over 700.
Over 700. We're hoping for over 850 this year. So yeah, it's wonderful to see the crowds down there, and it really is. It's just it's quite an event now.
Well, I think pun intended. Brittany, walk us through the walk day.
Okay. So participants, if they're not registered yet, we do highly suggest you come at 8:30 to get your registration information in, and you can bring in your money the day of the walk. So a lot of people fundraise online, but any form of fundraising that you do, we like to have that in on the day of the walk. So you can bring that in. You can visit the sponsor tables while you're there. We have basket raffles. We have delicious food, breakfasty and hot dogs, which are my favorite part. At 9:30, we're going to have Zumba this year. So everybody's going to get warmed up through somebody through Alba Fitness, doing some Zumba, and the opening ceremony starts at 9:30. So from 8:30 to 9:30, have some food, enjoy the event, donate some more money, bring your money. So at 9:30, we have the ceremony, and that goes through all the different ways that people are connected to the disease. And at 10 a.m., we kick off the walk. So we do a nice big countdown, and we take the either 1 or 2 mile walk. Like Carol said earlier, if you can't walk, you can sit there and eat a hot dog with me if you'd like.
Okay.
But it's a beautiful, beautiful walk through the upper lake and the lower lake.
So over southwestern Pennsylvania and the East Coast, it has been raining over the last couple of weeks. So if there's a listener out there that, there are those people that are passionate. If it snows that day, 4 feet of snow, they're going to come out. But there are some people out there that say, it's a nice day. It's a nice Saturday morning on September 29th. I think I'm going to go over there and walk at the Alzheimer's Walk. Can they just sign up that day? And how much is it to have a person that just say, hey, I'm going to check this off the list?
Sure, they absolutely can register that day. We do have registration tables open, like Brittany said, at 8:30. There is no cost to sign up. This is an event for awareness and to raise funds, so we appreciate any fundraising you can do, but there is no cost. So we appreciate you coming out and showing your support, but there are different levels of fundraising. For instance, if you raise $100, you get one of the nice nice long-sleeved T-shirts from the walk. And there's many different levels and many different prizes that you can win depending on the level of fundraising that you do. But you absolutely can decide to come out on the morning of the walk.
So if you wake up and it's not raining, not snowing, not humid or anything like that, I'm encouraging these listeners to say, hey, they need to go up to Twin Lakes Park on September 29th. The registration starts at 8:30. If somebody has any more questions and needs more information and wants to participate, how can they contact you?
They can give me a call. The office number is 412-261-5040. They can also call that helpline number again, which is 1-800-272-3900. And they can go on the walk site itself. Maybe some of their questions can be answered just by clicking there, and that's alz.org/walk.
Okay, very good. Ladies, Brittany Coulter, Walk Manager for the Alzheimer's Association, Carol Trent, Chair for the Westmoreland Walk and owner of Senior Helpers. Thank you very much for the impact that you are having on Alzheimer's in Westmoreland County and beyond.
Thank you, Chad.
Thanks, Chad.
You have been listening to Westmoreland Community Connections on Hometown Classic Hits 107.1 WHJB. Join us next week, same time, same place, for another edition of Westmoreland Community Connections. Thanks for listening, everyone.
This has been Westmoreland Community Connections, a look at issues and happenings in and around Westmoreland County. Join us again next week on Classic Hits 107.1 WHJB.